Um, so in today's little rant, I'm going to be talking about overthinking and how it's pretty much controlled my whole life. Um, I to this day, I still overthink everything that I do, and it's gotten to a point where it's kind of affected my health and obviously my mental health, but it's like really gotten bad to the point where like I will throw up from how much like overthinking I do. And my girlfriend, she's pretty good about reassurance and stuff, and like noticing when I'm overthinking. And recently we got into a little argument, and right now we're on a break. We I wish we weren't, but there is not much that I can do because, well, it was my fault. It was my fault that we even had that argument in the first place. And usually when I start to overthink things, I kind of like think to myself like, oh, like this is happening, and there's no other way that this isn't happening. So I just get into this really like icky mood, and I'm just incapable of thinking anything else but what I am thinking in that moment. And it genuinely sucks too, because like I will try and like self-soothe and like try and like better myself, but sometimes it just goes so south, like to the point where I just at that point give up, because I like I can't not overthink about stuff. And it shouldn't be her job to baby me into like overthinking. Like she if she becomes annoyed with it, I would completely understand why. And like when I was little, I would overthink if people liked me or not. I was so obsessed with being liked, and I was not that liked, if I'm being honest. I was probably like medium, if I had to say. I wasn't liked, but I wasn't like hated either. Um, I think that there comes a point where overthinking just becomes way too much to handle, and I I genuinely just give up, and I let it win. I I will like do all this stuff. I don't know. I'll like right now I'm doing these videos so I can figure out why I am overthinking in general. I I will admit that because I was an only child and because I didn't have that many friends, I was in my head a lot. I didn't really have anybody to rely on that much, I would say. And I'm not saying like that is the justification for me like completely blaming her for my overthinking, but I will say sometimes she does do things that I feel like aren't necessarily fair. Like, I don't think she should have so many guy friends when she has a history of having her guy friends like her. And I tend to overthink that stuff a lot. Like a current situation where she found a new friend. He's a guy, you know. I don't really know his intentions yet. He's a junior. We're both sophomores in high school. And, you know, she tends to get really annoyed when I mention him. Not all the time, but, you know, when it's speculation that he's gonna like her, she gets, like, annoyed. And sometimes I can understand it, but sometimes I just really can't. And I I want to. I want to be able to understand to the point, like, and I don't want to just be like, oh, it's her trauma, like, it's fine. Because sometimes it's really not fine, and it really does bother me. A lot of the time, actually. And overthinking is just, at this point, I just accepted that I will get better until recently where I was like, I cannot let this affect me in my relationship. And, you know, she said she doesn't have a problem with, like, reassuring me, but I also I can't stand the fact of feeling like a burden to her. Could you imagine if your partner was constantly overthinking and constantly being untrustworthy and thinking that you're cheating on them or that you'll find better? To me, if I keep saying you're gonna find better, she is gonna find better eventually because she's gonna find somebody more secure and stable with themselves mentally. And I'm not saying I'm mentally unstable, I'm saying I'm just not secure enough to be in a relationship. And, you know, just because she is, in fact, my first relationship ever, it doesn't excuse the fact that I still suck at relationships. You could be the best person in the world and you would still be extremely flawed. There's nothing wrong with that. I am a very flawed person. I have many flaws. For me, it's really hard to comprehend other people's feelings, not because I don't want to, but because feelings get really complicated sometimes, and some people feel really complex feelings, and when I don't comprehend somebody's feelings, I overthink about it because then I feel like I'm failing them in a way. And most of my overthinking when it comes to my girlfriend is just that. It's a lot of, I don't want you to be with anybody else type of thing. That might sound really selfish, But, like, this is gonna sound, like, really cringy, but, like, when it comes to her, I get, like, almost possessive. Maybe that's a good thing to some people, maybe that's a bad thing. But to me, I feel like it's a mix. If you have a healthy possessiveness with somebody, I think that's okay. But once it starts getting to the point where you get angry when they're giving somebody else their attention, I think that's when it starts to become a problem. And that's another reason why I'm doing this, is because I was getting so angry. Hence my last video of me trying to figure out why I get so angry and why I yell so much. And, I think a lot of it is because I wasn't very seen as a kid. And what? Oh. And I think well, I think that I doing this is like, oh, you must be so emotionally intelligent. I'm not. I do not know what I am doing. Oh my goodness, holy moly. Oh Lord. Oh my gosh. Bro, okay. Sorry guys. But holy crap, dude. Oh my goodness. Bro, what just happened? Okay, well, anyways. Oh, jeez, bro. But as I was saying before I was getting attacked is I think a lot of my, like, insecurity is the reason for my, is the reason for my overthinking. If I was secure with myself, I feel like I wouldn't feel the need to overthink, because I would trust my person to not do that to me, obviously. And I'm not saying that I don't trust her, because I very much do. Which trust will be another thing, but I think I might as well add it in here. I like, how do I say this? I kinda, there's so much, like, trauma to her having friends like the ones she does now. It it gets to a point where I don't know what to do. I feel like it's just gonna end up like every other time. And I think that's where the overthinking starts. Is it happened one time, then it happened again, and again, and again, and again, and I kept letting it happen. I wasn't doing anything to fix it or talk to her about it. I was just letting it happen over and over again. And now, when she does get new friends, I can't help but feel nervous and scared and overthink that I'm going to eventually get replaced. And it genuinely sucks because I don't like feeling that way about her. I don't like feeling like I can't trust her. But at the same time, I overthink and I feel like I can't trust her. But I think my overthinking really comes from like not feeling good enough. I think it comes from the fact that as a kid I used to try so hard to prove myself to people, and I tried so hard to be the best for everybody except for me, and it showed. And now we're here, and now I have like severe overthinking problems because I feel like I'm not gonna be good enough for her, and that she'll eventually just stop wanting me altogether. So, if anybody is watching this, please, by all means, any tips would be helpful. Any.